I've been waiting for this for a while, and I've actually been designing and building frames for this in anticipation of this camera because I was looking forward to testing it. So I just got it yesterday. I just built it up in this thing. And before I go ahead, I'm going to really quickly tell you about this quad and this quad. I've been testing all these mini, micro, whatever things, and so I previously predicted that 130 grams was kind of the maximum limit I would want to have on 2.5 inches, and these two quads very nicely exhibit that maximum limit because this quad has about 135 gram all-up weight with a 3S 550 milliamp pack. This quad has a 70 gram all-up weight with a 2S 450 milliamp pack, but I hugely prefer flying this quad over that quad. In fact, this quad might even be just as fast as that quad. It is way lighter. They're both running the same size props. Even though this is a twin blade, that's a tri-blade. Anyways, a lot more on that. This one flies awesome. This one's not quite stellar, but it's okay. More on that later. So let's talk about the Runcam Split Mini. So if you've seen my previous video on the regular Runcam Split, you'll know that I wasn't really a huge fan for various reasons, mostly because the FPV flying experience was not that fantastic, and the final video that you got out of the thing wasn't that fantastic, and a lot of the same things are exhibited here in this camera. So now you're watching the video of me flying around, and I'm not going to judge the quality yet. I'm going to tell you about the experience of flying it through FPV. The FPV feed from this camera is very much like a traditional CMOS sensor. Now, don't think about the Predator camera from Foxeer that just came out, because that sensor is very, very special, and it's a fantastic CMOS sensor. But this sensor is very much a regular, like a camera sensor, because it's intended for recording high-quality video. So the feed that you get out of the sensor exhibits all the problems with a CMOS sensor, which is not the greatest light-dark transitions. Well, the transition's fine, just the dynamic range is not fantastic. It has the potential to give you jello, unfortunately. The picture is kind of washed out, just white in general, and it has a massive glare problem. Where I'm flying around here, there's a lot of sun, there's a lot of glare that is going to cause problems, but this is over the top. There's a lot of glare in this camera that it makes me blind. Like, I honestly cannot see a lot of the time when I'm flying around in this little forest, so I can't see these tiny little leaves a lot of the time. The latency is kind of a moot point because you're probably not going to be using this camera for racing, so you're not going to be going super fast all the time, which is okay. That being said, I still get this sensation of I get tired flying with this camera, this quad, after about 5-6 packs. Not like tired, just I feel a little mentally taxed. Whereas other quads, I can fly all day long and I don't feel like I'm struggling or, extending myself flying the quad. Now let's talk about the actual physical form of the thing. The camera is a mini-size camera. It fits in mini-size spaces. The stack has gone down to a 20 by 20 millimeter mount. It's got a 2-board solution now. The SD card goes on the other side. They have this addition of pieces that you add on top, which actually holds the SD card in and prevents it from popping out, which is very nice, as well as another piece that holds the ribbon cable which the camera is connected to on top. Sorry I didn't take it apart and show you guys all the pieces inside. There's plenty of other videos that are going to come out that can show you all that stuff. The final weight of the dry weight of the camera and the boards without the hardware and everything is 16 grams on my scale, and then with the brass and all the stuff that you have to use to mount it, it's about 18-19 grams. So it's a little bit of a hefty weight, and I would highly recommend a 3-inch quad. I do not recommend you put this on a 2.5-inch quad. It's just a little bit too much payload, even for a super light 2.5-inch build. Like, this is a 80-gram dry weight. The Baby Hawk R weighs like 88 grams dry weight. So this is it's the lightest I could get it within a reasonable package. The setup that I'm using is the Zeus all-in-one. It's a 3S board, and then I'm using a 16 by 16 millimeter VTX in there as well, and that's really all I need. This was a really quick and easy build. Really thankful for that. The Sunny Sky motors that I'm running on here are the 1104 8500 kV, which I'm running on 3S, which is a little bit too much, but I really wanted to get power out of this thing because I was trying to aim for 2.5-inch, because once you get to 3-inch, I feel like it's just kind of a larger quad. So, okay, anyways, back to the Runcam Mini Split. Let's talk about the quality real quick, and this is kind of where I'm going to finish off. So, the quality of this camera, for me, not there. I don't want to use it. It's not really for me. If you're just looking to do, well, you're going to have your own uses for it if you want this camera. You can see the quality and judge it for yourself. Personally, I feel that the compression of the video that you get out of the camera is just way too high. You cannot work with it in post-processing. You can't pull the lights and darks up and down very well. You got a lot of artifacting in the video. You can apply colors to it, but that still doesn't work out very well. You get a very grainy image. You still get this low contrast kind of picture to it. And then you also have the distortion of the lens. Well, the lens is actually a lot better. I forgot to mention, the field of view when you're flying on the mini split is a lot better than the full-size split. The vertical field of view is mostly fixed. It's not perfect. It's kind of like a 2.5, almost the 2.3 maybe you can call it a lens. So it's adequate. It's good. It's not perfect. But again, this is a system that does everything in one, so you got to compromise somewhere. And that's the issue I have. It's the compromise. So I can't see very well when I fly. I don't get very good video out of it. That's got high distortion. I can't work with in post-processing. So I really don't see, personally, I'm not a fan. Very much like the Runcam split, the larger version, just not a huge fan of the setup. But that being said, it might be a good option for you, and you might want to consider it because it does give you this super clean finished product. I mean, look at that quad. Even though it's an annoying 27 millimeter stack and I had to add little spacers to it, it's a really finished product. And I'm known for my kind of messy builds, and it does make the build pretty neat and clean. So yeah, that's about it. Feel free to ask any questions. Oh yeah, other things, the menus are there. You can kind of set it to auto record or not auto record. It can interface with Betaflight. You can set it on a switch to kind of pause, play, stop, whatever, record. I didn't run into any issues with like a memory card full screen that pops up. I didn't run into any issues with the USB plug, even though it's kind of finicky when you plug it in, it doesn't work all the time. I had no problems building it. I ran into no problems at all. It worked completely as it was expected. So I cannot speak of the quality control or anything of that sort. And that's that. This is much more my fancy. And I have DVRs coming, VTX DVRs coming to experiment with this and see what kind of video I get from an onboard DVR with the Predator camera, which I'm hoping is going to be very, very nice video. That's it. Take care. Don't forget to floss.